Hi, I'm Jordan from Kettner Creative. In this video, I want to show you the differences between an XLR to USB cable like this one and an audio mixer with a USB output. Now, oftentimes, if you're new to XLR microphones and you're looking for a way to connect these to your computer, it'll come down to these two choices. Oftentimes, it really comes down to budget, so you need to figure out what you can get away with and what you can't. Even though you might want an audio mixer, do you really need it? This video will show you exactly what an XLR to USB cable is capable of, and we'll also go over the audio mixer. Now, to demonstrate what these devices are capable of, we have three different types of microphones here. We have a condenser microphone, we have a handheld dynamic microphone, and we have a studio dynamic microphone. Each one of these microphones has a very different requirement, so we're going to walk through that with these two devices to show you the strengths and weaknesses of either device so you can make the decision that you're looking to make. So before we get into the demo, I want to talk about both devices. An XLR to USB cable is a very simple device. It takes an XLR microphone, it has a little microchip in here that converts it to a USB digital signal. It adds about 20 decibels of gain. You may not know what that means, but we'll show you what that means in a minute. And then it connects to your computer and sends that audio straight through. Now, an audio mixer is obviously a lot more complicated. It has its roots in live sound, so you can mix multiple input sources like a band or computer inputs with microphones. It's commonly used for live streaming as well, just to the nature of how many things you can do on the mixer itself and then kick out the stereo mix to the computer. Now you can see here that we have lots of different options. We can set the gain and volume. We can set compression. What compression does is it will raise the volume of the things that are quiet in the input source, like a vocal, and it'll compress the parts that are loud. So it basically narrows that dynamic range, which makes it a lot more desirable for things like live events or live streaming where you don't want to be mixing the volume the whole time. It's a tool that really just locks the volume into a smaller window, even though it does give up some dynamic range. You also have the ability to equalize your voice. What that means is you can make small changes to the low end or high end or mid range of your voice, or any input source for that matter, to the desired effect that you're looking for. So you can make little changes to the way that the input source sounds, and you can pan things left or right. Everything gets mixed together to the stereo output, and the stereo output gets sent through the USB cable on the back of this device to your computer. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect this XLR to USB cable to the computer, and then we're going to test it with these three microphones. Now in our sound settings, we select this USB audio device. We're going to pick up this condenser microphone, and even though the volume is turned all the way up, we can see here that this condenser microphone is not making any volume all the way to the computer. And that's because a condenser microphone requires 48 volts of phantom power. It needs electricity in order to activate. So it will not make any sound without that electricity. And unfortunately, an XLR to USB cable does not provide that phantom power or that 48 volts of electricity that this microphone needs just to turn on. So it's not a viable option if you have a condenser microphone that you want to connect to your computer. Next, we're going to use a handheld dynamic microphone. So as we pick up this microphone, you can see that the volume is clearly coming through. You can hear it now as well. But one downside with this solution is that the volume is already turned all the way up. When the volume is turned all the way up to that full mark there, you will get a little bit of noise. That preamp is working really hard to get you full volume there. But also what you'll notice is if we move this microphone away from our face, we don't have the ability to turn this microphone up anymore. So this might be a good option for you if you have a microphone like a handheld dynamic microphone and you can use good mic technique and keep it close to your face. But do be warned that if you need more volume than this, that you just don't have any more headroom to turn up to give you that volume. Next, we're going to use the studio dynamic microphone, the Shure SM7B. Now, as you can see with this microphone, it's fully turned up and we're getting about 50% of the volume that we need. So I do not think that this is an option for us because we really need more volume than that in order to make this microphone work correctly. So there you have 3 different microphones that we just tested with this XLR to USB cable. I think the only one that might work is the handheld dynamic microphone, but even then, just be warned that we were already fully maxed out there, so it might not be the best option for you. Next, we're going to connect the condenser microphone to our analog mixer here. And the cool thing about a mixer is that we can connect all 3 microphones at the same time. That's what it's built for. It's built to mix between all 3 input sources, or as many input sources as your audio mixer has. So we'll select the MG10XU in the sound settings on our computer. The USB cable is connected to the computer. We'll pick up our condenser microphone. Now, in order to make this condenser microphone work, we do need to turn phantom power on. Then we can turn the level up to the triangle position and increase the gain. So this is what it sounds like with the condenser microphone plugged into the Yamaha MG10, and then the USB cable comes out of the Yamaha MG10 into the laptop. So you can see here that that microphone did work correctly. Having this phantom power on the board does open a whole new class of microphones for you, so it might be a great option for you there. Next, we have the handheld dynamic microphone. So here we have the Shure SM58. You can see here that we're getting full volume, and the cool thing about this solution compared to the XLR to USB cable is we do have more ability to turn the microphone up from here. So if we have to move the microphone farther away from our face, we can turn the microphone up to make it a little bit louder for those who are trying to hear us. Next, we have the Shure SM7B. So with the Shure SM7B, I do have the volume and the gain cranked all the way up to 10, but you can see here that we are getting more volume than we did with the previous option. Now, there is another solution if you need even more volume than this with this microphone. It is common for that microphone that you need even more volume than what even this mixer can provide. So in options like that, you have the option to use a mic activator like the Cloud Lifter. There's a whole bunch of different versions of this. There's a Fethead, there's a Dynamite, Radial makes one as well. But each of these, what these do is these will trade phantom power for more volume out of the board. So this wouldn't work with the XLR to USB cable because it doesn't supply phantom power, but this would work with an audio mixer like the MG10 that supplies phantom power, and that would get you even more volume out of those dynamic microphones. This does not work with condenser microphones though, but that's typically not a problem. Condenser microphones don't require a lot of gain compared to dynamic microphones. So there you have it. You have 2 different options. The XLR to USB cable is pretty straightforward. I would really only recommend it for a handheld dynamic microphone if you don't need a ton of volume, but if you need even a little bit more or extra volume, it might not be able to supply you with the gain that you need. But the Yamaha MG10 or any other audio mixer with the USB audio output will have tons of gain for all 3 microphones. If you have something like a studio dynamic microphone, this mixer would unlock that option to use a Cloud Lifter or something like that. But the big one is that it has phantom power for your condenser microphones. That's a huge benefit with going with a solution like this. Plus you have all kinds of outputs and routing options. So you can do video streaming, live events, hybrid events, where you're doing both like a real in-person event and you're live streaming it as well. You can do all that from this mixer. If you have any questions about these 2 options, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you want to see pricing or specs on anything that you've seen in this video, we have a bunch of links in the description to give you more information to help you make your decision. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.